This is where the fun begins.
Hello there. How's it going?
Hey everyone, Harvard Toy Reviews here, and today we're taking a look at the Black Series Luke Skywalker from Star Wars A New Hope. This is a much needed upgrade to the existing Luke Skywalker from this movie in the line. That figure wasn't good in 2016 when it came out. The photoreal they put on it in 2021 didn't help things very much, and this is finally a resculpt from head to toe. So I'm very excited to take a look at this, see if this is the upgrade that we have been waiting for. I would also like to shout out Toy Snowman up in Canada. They had this figure in stock, ready to ship, and I decided it was not worth waiting for. Some of the others in the wave, I'm waiting for a sale, or I'm just waiting to find them. I really wanted to get the Vernestra, and it was just out of stock. So I'm just going to have to pick that one up later. But finally have a new Luke. So let's take a look at him and see what we're getting here. And here's Luke Skywalker in the packaging. Let's go ahead and take a look at said packaging. This is your standard new packaging for 2024 with a big window showing Luke and his accessories off nicely. Star Wars The Black Series up top. Number 9 in the A New Hope line. Luke Skywalker going up there. Star Wars A New Hope in orange across the front. Warning, 4+ Hasbro. There's always art behind the characters in here, but usually it's a little bit washed out. I do like the indication of moisture evaporators behind him. It is the Lars Farm, and it is just a very cool card. This side features a really cool artist rendition of Luke from the movie. I like what we're getting here. And again, the farm way in the background, just a very cool art print. Luke Skywalker at the bottom. This side, wraparound stripe, wraparound window, Black Series logo. Art about Luke, Black Series logo, his name again, a bio about Luke in varying languages. Pause and read whichever language best applies to you. Number 9 in the A New Hope line. Bunch of legal stuff, Disney Hasbro barcode, more legalese. And there's a hanger tab up top. Nothing else. So, very standard action figure packaging stuff. So without further ado, let's get into this review. Alright, so here we have Farm Boy Luke Skywalker out of the packaging. Let's go ahead and start by taking a look at the accessories. For starters, he comes with his binoculars. This is an accessory you've had before. However, this is a resculpt. So these are solid. There's a square plug in the back, and I'll talk about that in a moment. These are solid. This is actually the original one from the 2016 red and black box version. And while they are very similar, the sizes are almost identical. It is hollowed out, and it has this like clip molded onto it for clipping onto the belt. This has a square hole, and it's painted very nice, but I'm going all around his belt, and I'm just not finding the place that has a square hole. And so I'm like, am I supposed to like peg it on? I'm not finding anywhere to do that. So I don't know if there's supposed to be like a clip that's like a separate piece that they glue in at factory and it's just missing on mine, or what's going on there. But it is what it is. I'm going to be honest. It's an accessory that I've never ever used. I kind of forgot that the first one came with it, because I'm going to be honest. I took this figure out of the box back in 2016, and I was like, oh, neat, binoculars. And I turned them around, and I clipped them onto his belt, and I never ever took it off again until just this review right here and now. So these binoculars are really cool, but they're going in the parts bin. Now, standing Luke back up. He comes with the lightsaber of Rey Skywalker. Now, this is not me being a Disney-loving libtard. However, I do love Rey. However, this is the Graflex lightsaber. Now, I'm going to go into some super deep dive prop history with you. The Graflex lightsaber was made for the A New Hope Star Wars movie, and technically this configuration is wrong, because for it to be representative of this movie, this control box actually needs to be on this side of the hilt. In Empire Strikes Back, the control box was moved to this side of the hilt. However, they removed the glass eye in exchange for a red button, just like is on the back of it, like so. Then, when the lightsaber was discarded at the end of Empire Strikes Back and finally picked up in The Force Awakens, they had gone back to the glass eye, left the box on this side. That makes it a Rey Skywalker variant. Another thing is, in A New Hope, it doesn't have the gold contacts up the side. That was added for Empire and retained for Force Awakens and the remaining sequel films. So, technically this is in the Force Awakens Last Jedi Rey Skywalker configuration. So, bite me, nerds. But it is a very well sculpted lightsaber. I don't know if we have seen this exact sculpt in the line before. They have resculpted this particular lightsaber so many times. And it's just not it's hard to keep them all in check. It has a very nice blue for the blade. I do like the blue. It's very deep, it's very eye-catching, and like so many others, it is removable. Some people want us to start getting separate hilts. That's not really where I'm at. I'm okay with this how it is. I like the removable blade system. I get that some have broken over the years, but I think that's just life. But it does lay very nicely on the lower portion of his tunic. There's actually, it's not like notched, but there is a cleverly sculpted fold in the fabric there. So when you put it in, when you put it in on the hook, it does slightly nest, which keeps it nice and secure. However, it is just hanging on a peg, so it does have some dangle on it. If you drop the figure with it on the belt, it's going to go flying. And that is just the nature of such things. The blade has, you see how there's just that little dent in the blade there? It's because of the emitter shroud here. You just want to line that up when pegging it back in like so. Otherwise, if you had it like crooked, you would actually have the blade somewhat tilted, whereas if you nest it, it's a little straighter. Setting that aside, let's take a look at Luke Skywalker. Starting off with the head sculpt, I'm going to be 100% honest. This head is not it. I'm just not really messing with it. You know, it's the hair is sculpted rather correctly to A New Hope. It's maybe a little too much brown. It should maybe be a little bit more sun-bleached blonde. But I'm just trying to remember which of the Stranger Things kids that this looks like. But, you know, it's got the nice blue eyes poking out there, but that is not a great Mark Hamill. Now, I will say objectively, it's probably more in the right direction from this one from 2016. Like, this was very, very bad, and the hair is a little too blonde there. This still isn't a good Mark Hamill, so I don't quite know what the solution is. You know, Mark Hamill does, everyone says it in all their reviews, he has one of those faces that is just really, really hard to capture in plastic. However, for the Empire Strikes Back 40th anniversary, I feel like they did a pretty good job with Dagobah Luke, and something that I'm debating doing as a custom, honestly, is like, these hairs are, like, glued on. They're overlays. I kind of want to buy another one of this, peel the hair off, and do, like, a hair swap. I think that might actually give me the Luke Skywalker that I want for my shelf for this particular appearance. So maybe we'll do that in a custom going forward. It's not as noticeable, you know, when you look at it, like, with the tunic on. However, dude does have a bit of a neck going on here. It's right up there with our Yord this year. He's got that Hawk Tua neck game going on. So he's in line for an episode of Talk Tua. But there's just a lot of neck going on. Because when you actually look at the structure of where the shoulders are, which is like down here, you know, it's like, ooh, that's like a long, long neck. But that's okay. It still objectively looks good. I don't really mind that. And when you have the collar, you like way high up like so, it is just the look. So this is a huge improvement, speaking of the collar and the shirt that it's attached to, because our original one, just again, this soft goods did not do it. This wasn't good in 2016, and I am a little sad that it took them 8 years to fix it. But it's okay, because that other one got reissued like 5 times in the interim, so they got their budget out of that sculpt. Now get rid of it. Throw that tool in the trash, Hasbro. Yeah, this is like definitely really good. They've made it as an overlay, and then the overlay actually wraps over itself, so there is like a flap in there, you know, and so I'm okay with it. I do like how this worked out, and it just looks really good. There's a lot of bagginess going on the sleeves. It's white, but there's so many sculpted little wrinkles that like they catch the light, and so it looks very, very fabric-y. Like this, you know, I guess the one thing is if they had sculpted it like this in 2016, it would have had like that first Obi-Wan's articulation, meaning no articulation. So I guess I'm glad that they waited till now to do it the right way. If you look down the sleeves, there is a forearm in there that then just plugs into the solid white plastic, but that does give you the illusion of it being a hollow sleeve. It is one of those things where it does not mega, like you do get your wrist articulation in there, but it makes it a little hard to like point the lightsaber. We've seen that issue on things like Jabim, Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's just how it is. He has a really, really detailed belt going on here. He has a lot of paint on it too. The hook for the lightsaber is painted silver. It's got some silver rivets above it. Silver rivets all around. It's got a kind of like a gunmetal gray buckle going on. He's got the droid collar permanently mounted on there. Going around back, he's got these pouches. These don't have their buttons painted, but whatever. Something I did right out of the box, and maybe I should have just had the camera going, but I was like, oh, when I took it out, this pouch fell off. It kind of like hooks onto the belt there. That was slightly annoying to me, and I think it was supposed to be glued in, or maybe not. And so maybe I modified this before starting the review, but I did put a little dab of super glue in up top, and then I was like, it's gonna like hang around, so I then put a little dab behind here to stick it to the comma. So maybe, or not comma, just the skirt. But so anyway, maybe I shouldn't have done that before the review, because I try not to modify things before review, but I was like, I think it was just a factory error personally. The pants look very nice. They're a bit of a cream color. Interesting tidbit for those is that, and these pants actually went up for auction like 2 or 3 years ago, so the only reason I know this, apparently these are actually like very, very washed out Levi jeans. They were actually like Levi branded, not blue jeans, but jeans. So I remember it was weird, like it was just one of those weird articles you see where Luke Skywalker's pants go up for auction for $1 billion. And so that was cool. The boots have a very nice sculpt to them. They're very wrapped, and they have a little bit of a wash on them just to show that they're worn. Boots get worn. They do, in fact, get wear. That is a scientifically proven fact. And so they just look very, very nice, very accurate to what you would expect from the film. And then he has these kind of dark gray soles going on with all the legal info you would ever expect to see on an action figure. So, objectively, doing a 360 once more, this Luke does look very, very nice. I do like how he turned out. To run through articulation, I'll be honest, he has basically everything that you would expect from a modern Black Series figure, because he is a head-to-toe resculpt. So, he has the double ball-jointed neck system, which allows him to look that far up, which is pretty good, that far down, side to side, and all the pivot you could ask for. He can do a T-pose and has a really deep butterfly joint in there, which is very nice. 360 degrees at the shoulders, of course, with single-jointed elbows. Going 290 with the bulkiness of the sleeves, that makes sense. There's a swivel at that joint, and then 360 on the wrist, and both of them have a vertical hinge in there. He has a mid-torso ball joint. It's kind of buried under that overlay, but it allows him to crunch that far forward, that far back. You get some side-to-side and some twist. His legs can kick that far out. If you fight the rubber overlay, he can go that far forward, which is nice. Not really much back, a little back. There's no upper thigh cut. That's okay, though. These single-jointed knees go to 90 degrees and then have a twist, which is all the leg rotation you need right there anyway. And then he actually has boot swivels. They're a little stiff, but you can twist the boot there. That is very, very nice. I like that. I like a good boot cut. It's very hidden. It's not very gappy. Like, it threw me at first. I straightened the knee joints on it, and then I was like, why are his feet pointing in? Well, it's because the boot cuts were a little turned. So that's a very, very pleasant surprise. I love that. For ankle articulation, you can point them basically straight down. His feet, if you push it, can go about that far forward. And there's a very nice forward-facing pin for rocker, letting you get some decently wide stances with both feet flat on the ground. Getting him stood back up, let's do some size comparisons. So here he is next to the Orange Line Wave 2 Han Solo. God, that figure needs a redo. And allegedly, it's coming, which is very nice. Here he is next to Princess Leia, who I got to get a new one because she was in a storage bin and someone had blue tack on their feet and it got onto her dress. And I'll actually be honest, I was planning on just sticking with this Leia because there's another Leia with a sculpted dress in this wave. And I was like, oh, I like this though, because it does have a very, very nice photoreal application. This is the archive one. I mean, like, that's Carrie Fisher through and through. But I hadn't messed with this figure in a while, and the articulation is nice. It's just the whole, the fabric dress does not lay as nice as I remember it laying. So that is unfortunate, because I think she was also in stock at Toy Snowman, so I wish I had just bought it and put it in the order at this point. But such is life. Here is a Imperial Stormtrooper on the 2020 sculpt, which just stands at a perfect 6 inches and shows you that Luke is a little shorter than your average 6-inch height person or figure, and that is perfectly fine because Mark Hamill isn't the tallest guy out there. All in all, I think I like the scale. So at the end of the day, what do I think of this new Black Series Luke Skywalker? I'm going to be honest, it's a pretty through and through flawless figure. From the neck down, that is. I'm going to be honest, that head needs a rework before they inevitably put it on a retro card for the 2020 50th A New Hope anniversary. Let's be fair, we all know that's coming. So yeah, if they do a new head sculpt on it, I'll probably pick it up again at that point. But for now, I do want to do that mod I was talking about with the Bespin, or with the Dagobah Luke, potentially. Otherwise, this figure is great. I got him in a one-legged running stand on a spinning stand that or one-legged running pose on my spinning stand, which has a little bit of a wobble in it, meaning that it's not even a perfectly like smooth position, and he's holding it well. I'm gonna be honest, this lightsaber pose is a little more dynamic than you ever see him do in A New Hope. I play a lot of New Battlefront 2, and it is the Luke skin that I use whenever I play as Luke, which isn't very often. I play a lot of co-op Republic, but the it's just really cool that I can get this Luke in poses like this. I really like it. Super cool. It's just a great addition to the collection. If you have that old Luke, I would almost say that it's like a mandatory upgrade. Even if you have like the Power of the Force card back, like photoreal upgrade, that face isn't that great, and that body is absolutely terrible. So this was a great job. I mean, just great work to the people at Hasbro. The face is a little rough. It's Mark Hamill. It's always a little rough. It's also like, it's not horrible, right? It's not horrible. At the end of the day, it's tolerable. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So, end of the day, the face ain't great, but I'm probably going to go ahead and give it like a 7.5 out of 10. It's just a good figure, even though it's not a great likeness. Thank you, Ood. So, that said, I'm going to go work on something else. Thanks a bunch for watching. It means a lot that you did. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that end of video stuff. I'll catch you next time. Until then, may the Force be with each and every one of you, and goodbye.